Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andrew Seegers, and this time we're again joined by Derek Bittner to discuss the recently announced DLC for Mario Golf World Tour. So let's get right into it. Alright Derek, so this was kind of a surprise today, but Nintendo announced that there are 3 DLC packs coming to Mario Golf World Tour, one of which will be available on the day the game comes out, then the others will be available in the following weeks, up through June. These are course packs. So they'll come in at $5.99 each. They'll each give you 2 brand new courses with 18 holes each, and a brand new character. And those characters are going to be Rosalina, Toadette, and Nabbit. And if you buy the Season Pass, which is basically all 3 of them, you get not only a discount, it's $15 total, so that's a $3 discount, but you also get Gold Mario as well. Now, I've seen a lot of mixed reactions to this online, so that's why we're having this discussion. I mean, we normally wouldn't talk about this, which is actually something I've been saying about a lot of our discussions recently. What's there to say about DLC, typically? But because of all the mixed reactions, including some people who wanted to get our take on it, I figured, why not? Alright, so let's start off with you, Derek. Let's get your gut reaction to this DLC.
I didn't even really know about it. I'm busy working on other stuff, and all of a sudden he's like, "Do you hear about the Mario Golf DLC?" I'm like, what? Nintendo's had DLC before, and, it's not been a big deal, so I'm like, why is this such a big deal? And I guess the reason everybody's talking about it is because this is the first time Nintendo's used a Season Pass function.
There's 2 things about this. Yeah, there's Day 1 DLC, and then, the Season Pass, which, as you kind of hinted at right there, is, I think, almost working to Nintendo's... It's not working in Nintendo's favor, calling it that.
Guess not? I don't know. Like I said, you're the one that's seen all the reactions, so I'm just going based off my own perception of this. Mm-hmm. And I'm not much of a DLC guy, but I read their press release, and this honestly seems like a really good deal.
Yeah, so as they say in the press release itself, Mario Golf by itself comes with an equivalent amount of content to previous games. And I fact-checked them. They're right. It actually has more overall courses, and the amount of holes appears to be the same as at least the previous Mario Golf game on GameCube being Toast to a Tour. So yeah, it's right in line. But that's not even taking into account the fact that this game, from what we can tell, is retailing for $30 everywhere, which is less than the standard $35 to $40 price for most 3DS games. And when you compare that to previous Mario Golf console games, which are $50. So honestly, this seems like a pretty good deal. At worst, you're paying, if you buy all this content, you're paying $5 more than a standard 3DS game price for basically double the content that the game comes with, at least in terms of courses and holes, and you're getting a few additional characters. So I don't quite understand the big deal about this.
No, I mean, it seems pretty fair. I mean, Nintendo with DLC has been overall pretty fair about how they're doing it. You don't feel like you're getting screwed out of some things, because I've seen some DLC where it adds, it's $10-15 and you get maybe 3 hours of extra playtime. With a game like Mario Golf, you can use these courses over and over and over, have different times, play with your friends, all that good stuff, plus you get the extras of the characters. I mean, they could charge just $5-6 like they are doing here for just the courses, but they're throwing in a new character as well, and these are some fan favorites. Everybody loves Rosalina. I don't know the opinion on Toadette, but she's always cool to have in Mario Kart. And then of course Nabbit, who I believe this is his first New Super Mario Brothers appearance.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
That just says he's getting worked into the fold and all that stuff. And then they even created, I don't even know that many times there's been a bonus for Season Pass users in the form of for other companies, where you get the Season Pass and you get all this, you get something extra along with all the DLC. Usually it's just a cheaper price. But Nintendo was throwing in a brand new 4th character if you get the Season Pass. So that's even more content for you. So overall, I'm kind of with you. This seems incredibly fair. If you're a fan of Mario Golf World Tour, which you can pick up, just normal and play the game fine, but if you feel like you need more content, it's there. To the best of my knowledge, the way Season Passes usually work, because I've never honestly bought one before, is that you get the game and they offer you to get a Season Pass. But usually it's when you actually purchase the game. I don't really know of any places to get the Season Passes in the game itself. And with Mario Golf, the Season Pass won't be available till the release, and it seems like you have to get it from within the game itself through Toad's store in there. So honestly, it's like you can play the game for a little bit, decide if you like it or not, and then pick up the season pass if you want all this content that's coming out later. And to add on top of this, the fact that I really feel this is a good deal for people wanting to try it out, even if you decide not to get the season pass or any of the downloadable content right away, Nintendo says in their press release that trial tournaments will be offered for people interested in trying out a sample of the downloadable courses. So you can go online, do one of these tournaments, play a little bit of the stages and the courses, and if you like them, get them. So there's even demos for DLC, which I think is unheard of.
Yeah, no, this all really seems to be good news to me. I mean, the only reason why I can think of, why this is getting some negative reactions by some people, I guess there's actually a few reasons. One, Nintendo and DLC, they don't have much of a history, and a lot of Nintendo gamers seem to be kind of opposed to DLC on principle. And I don't completely blame them, because I kind of go back and forth on DLC. I'm not a fan at all of like any story-based DLC. Like if you're missing part of the story mode and you have to pay extra for that, we have a problem. But if you're adding just secondary content to the game, I'm really in full favor of that, especially if it's not coming at the expense of content that should have been in the game originally, which this doesn't seem to be the case. And that's partially another issue here, is a lot of people are taking this day one DLC as being evidence of the fact that this is content that they're holding back from putting in the game itself and, releasing separately. Which is, I never understood this logic. I've never understood it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Basically what they're saying is if Nintendo just pretended this DLC wasn't already finished and released a few weeks later, they would be okay with it. Basically, how games work is they budget a certain amount of time and money to develop the game, and then they budget separately for the DLC. And this is in most cases, and that seems to be the case here, because the main game comes with the content that's been in previous games already, and in some respects more than previous games. And they're offering all of that at a rate, at an amount lower than most 3DS games. Let's take worst case scenario. Let's say this content actually was cut from the game. What they're doing essentially then is they're offering you a cheaper game with the same amount of content as previous games, for $10 less than most 3DS games, which you then have the option of buying more content for, double the amount of content for essentially, at a $5 premium versus most 3DS games, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. As we've been saying, it sounds like a good deal to us. Now, whether or not I'll actually pick up Mario Golf, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not much of a golf gamer, and it looks kind of cool, but what I really like about this whole thing, even barring the fact if I decide not to get this game at all, is that Nintendo is giving the people who are interested in the game chances to try it all out. Mm-hmm. And I think they've found a way to sort of counteract every one of these little problems that people might have. I don't know. I think so far the way that Nintendo has treated DLC for the most part has seemed extremely fair.
Yeah, I've not felt ripped off at all by what they've offered. I thought New Super Luigi U was cool. They were doing some interesting stuff with Fire Emblem, though I didn't actually try any of that stuff out. And what they're doing here, I think is fine. I think it's in fact, I actually like this because I like the idea that these games aren't completely static. And I'm actually wondering if it might hint at DLC possibilities for Smash Brothers and Mario Kart. And there's something interesting here I've noticed, is that Nabbit seems to be the kind of poster child for this DLC. Being playable, first time playable in New Super Luigi U, which is a downloadable expansion, and now playable again in these Mario Golf courses.
Yeah, maybe he'll pop up as he could pop up in the main game of Mario Kart 8 as a playable character. We don't know that yet.
Maybe get his own course too.
Maybe get his own course too, and maybe they can just start offering extra cups as Mario Kart 8 DLC, where you get 4 new courses and a new character, which, hell, I'd pay for that.
No, that would be awesome. I love Mario Kart. They're already offering, as we know, at a baseline, equivalent content to previous games, just like as they are with Mario Golf. If they offer additional content on top of it, I'm all for it. I love the tracks they've come up with so far for Mario Kart 8. If they can give me more of those, for a fair amount, I'd be more than happy to pay that. Or it'd be nice to have new content for Mario Kart without having to wait for the next Mario Kart.
People are always wondering, is there going to be more than 32 courses this time? Because half of it's new courses, the other half is returning courses. We could just keep adding to that and just putting more and more in, and people will buy it. I mean, you could almost get 8 more content packs with a new character each, as well as these these more courses. So you get 16 more old tracks, and as well as 16 more new tracks, and you basically got a completely new game. As well as it's like Mario Kart 8.5 at that point. Yeah. I think the model works really well for games like Mario Golf, Mario Kart, even New Super Mario Brothers 2 worked pretty well, I thought. Now, you mentioned Smash Brothers, and that's where I'm not sure if it would work quite as well. Mainly because adding new characters after the game comes out kind of throws off the balance. Yeah, it'd be cool to get them in, but you have to really think about balancing with those characters. Plus the fact that some people won't get the DLC, so that means they won't be able to use those characters and might not be able to how to combat them. And I'm not sure how it works with other fighting games, how people feel about DLC characters with other fighting games. I've never downloaded those.
I think typically, like, you can go up against someone who's playing as them online, but you can't be that character yourself. Like with Killer Instinct, I think is how that worked, on Xbox.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. It makes sense to do it like that, so you can still fight these people.
Well, it's great marketing too. It's like, oh, that character looks awesome. Like, I want to be that guy.
Yeah, true. So yeah, I mean, I could see it'd be interesting to see if they did go that extra mile for Smash Brothers Wii U, because I don't know if they'll do it for Smash Brothers 3DS. Who knows? Really, who knows? There's more concerned about getting the Wii U version done at that point, I'm thinking.
Right.
But it'd still be interesting to see if they would go the extra step of adding new characters and new stages.
Yeah, new stages would definitely seem more likely in Smash Brothers than new characters for the balancing reasons you mentioned. Stages would be a lot easier to implement, and I think would appeal to a lot of people as well.
So yeah, I think this is a model that could work for other games. I think much more in the lines of sort of like these sports titles or racing titles. We'll have to see if it works for Smash. If they decide to go for a DLC for Smash Brothers, how it would work out, how they would structure it, or anything like that. But if Nintendo keeps up the policies like this and makes it seem very advantageous for the gamer to pick this stuff up, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's really interesting what they're doing here, because with the console games, or rather with the with retail type games, like with the games you buy at the store, or these full price games, I should say, they're offering the DLC as completely secondary content to the game itself. You get the whole game, then you can buy more of it if you'd like. Whereas with some of these eShop games, as we're seeing with that Rusty Sports game and then Steel Diver, they're offering basically this cheap experience or free experience up front, which you can then build on by buying these additional DLC components. It's interesting how they're taking these two different models and working them in completely different ways, based on whether it's like a digital only game or a game also available in retail. I've had no complaints so far from how they're treating this at all. I think they've been very respectful of their audience, and I actually like what promise it holds for the future. Alright, well, I think that wraps up our discussion on the Mario Golf DLC and the other topics we covered, so thanks guys for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like us and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. You can find links to them in the description below. It's a good way to keep up to date with everything we post, including our upcoming Mario Golf review, which will be going up in just a few days. So thanks for watching, and bye.